New York State becoming the first state to set the fast food worker minimum wage at $15 an hour. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo will still face hurdles from opposition in Albany, but he is remaining confident over the weekend, saying that he plans to mobilize the working families of New York. Listen to this.
You think you can stop this campaign in Albany? You haven't seen anything yet. We're going to mobilize the working families of New York like they've never been organized before. You stand in the way of the working families, they're going to knock you down, and we will not stop fighting until we have $15 an hour. So help me God.
What does this minimum wage increase mean for business in the state? Joining us now, small business owners Butch Yamali and Ramon Ray. Good to see you both. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Butch, let me kick it off with you. Sure. Tell us about your small business and what you're expecting.
I'm in the food business. I have concessions, I have catering halls, I have restaurants, and that's going to be tough for me. I mean, I don't mind paying the wages, but this is for entry-level students. This is for college students, and it's very upsetting. They're not going to get jobs anymore, and it hurts.
They're not going to get jobs, meaning what? You're going to fire people?
Well, we won't be able to hire them. We won't be able to afford to hire them because these are kids that work in like beach snack bars and little menial marginal places. They're entry-level positions. How can we afford them?
Ramon, what about that? Tell us about your business. I'd like to figure out how many of these workers are, in fact, teens, like Butch is talking about, and how many are working families, like the governor is talking about.
Yeah, it's a big problem, Maria. It's very nice and cute to say that we need a $15 minimum wage. It's very nice, but I think for business owners, it's not practical because you cannot force business owners to have $50 minimum wage if they cannot afford that. So I think it's great. But yes, and many of them are students. My son, he's a young guy. He can afford to have the minimum wage. But there are people that may need more money, but you can't do that on the backs of business owners. So it's very nice for the governor to say you can't stop this march and all this, but it's not practical because the people who are giving the money are business owners, and we need that help.
So you're saying the majority of people that are making the minimum wage are teens, no experience, those are the people that are making.
Some of them may be, yes, but there's a number of people who are at Walmart and other places who are older people, who are people like us, but we still can't raise that minimum wage without being practical.
It's very hard with students because this is a good learning experience for them. You're going to take that away from them. They won't be able to get an entry-level job. They won't be able to work when they get their working papers at 14, 15 years old.
Right.
Yeah, people like Butch are going to have to let them go.
It's sad.
Isn't this partly, though, the story of the cost coming off of the state and going on to business? I mean, one of the reasons that Andrew Cuomo raised the minimum wage, for example, on fast food is because by lifting people out of poverty, then those people do not have to be beholden to the state to get all of the benefits that the state pays for. So is this part of just shifting the cost onto business and away from the state?
It could be his grand scheme. I don't know about that. But most importantly, it's going to take and raise the cost of everything. You're going to go into a restaurant now, you're going to pay twice what you pay now because it's almost double the amount you pay.
So you're going to raise prices.
You have to. How can you make a profit?
And people can't afford that. Business owners, Maria, I think the thing is that as prices are raised for businesses, they're going to have to put the cost on somebody else, and they're not going to be able to hire more. They're not going to be able to reinvest in the local communities. So it's a losing situation.
So is that what you're going to do as well, Ramon? Tell us about your business.
No, absolutely. So I founded 4 companies. I sold one. My current business is Smart Hustle Magazine. The point is that how am I going to hire more people? How am I going to have people to run what I need to run in my businesses if I have increased costs from the government? The government can do 2 things. They can either help people by staying out of the way, lowering taxes, and helping us to grow, or they can get in the way and raise taxes and have regulation, as I know happens in Butch businesses, and that's a problem as well. So it's a no-win situation here.
You know, Maria, it seems to me there is the makings of a compromise. I mean, you referred to Walmart. Some people call it the welfare queen because there are so many employees there who literally cannot make ends meet. They're below the poverty level. So we as taxpayers end up supporting them because Walmart's paying them so little. On the other hand, you've got students, as you said, getting experience, getting $8.75 an hour. That's not bad. You'd think there could be a way to craft a law that would allow you to pay a college student $8.75 and would force Walmart to pay someone with a certain tenure, perhaps, maybe after a training period, to get them up to a poverty level, at least kind of wage.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, what does Walmart say? Walmart says they have the lowest prices as well.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ramon.
I was just going to say, keep in mind, Walmart says they have the lowest prices. So they're also helping middle America because people come in when they want pickles for 50 cents and not $2. They go to Walmart, not Whole Foods. So it's a balance.
I would say I'd rather pay $2 for pickles and have lower taxes because the government's not supporting that Walmart worker.
The government is also, you have Obamacare to consider in the same
That's true. That's very
because
important.
now they're cutting hours. So instead of working a lot of hours and overtime, they're cutting people off at 30, 38 hours so they won't have to be responsible to get Obamacare. So you couple that with the $15 an hour, you're going to have people working 10 hours a week. It's not going to work out.
I mean, you're disincentivizing the hiring, period, whether it's Obamacare, whether it's the minimum wage, you know. And just to your point about the government, I don't trust them to take less tax money anyway.
Absolutely,
so.
absolutely.
But this is really, you have to look at this not in a vacuum. I mean, I'm glad you brought up Obamacare because that's part of the cost equation. So how much of your costs include Obamacare? I mean, when you hire new workers, are you thinking this is what it's going to cost me because I'm forced to offer these kinds of benefits?
Well, it becomes part of the major cost, but also it's very good to have student labor because you're not responsible for Obamacare. They have
so you want to hire the teenagers,
especially for a marginal, location like a concession or a snack bar. It's very important.
But let's look at the picture bigger there also, Butch, because you're thinking that it's not just the retailers. It's not just that. It's beyond that as well. So I think we have to look at both of that as well.
Sure.
Let me ask you one more question because we got the second GOP debate this week. As small business owners, what do you want to hear from the candidates on Wednesday as it relates to small business? Ramon?
Yeah, there's two things I want to hear. I want to hear, one, that they're going to be incentivizing businesses to create more businesses and lower deregulation. What's happening in New York with Uber, for example, is a travesty. Two, I would like to hear what they can do, as we just discussed, about lowering taxes or making it easier to start a business and grow a business. Because if the money you're making is pulled out through taxation, it doesn't give you an incentive to grow. So that's what I want to hear.
But
taxation, deregulation.
What about you?
I want to hear about Obamacare, either to reduce it or to do away with it.
What's the alternative? Yeah.
The alternative is have health care the way it used to be. It worked out better for everybody. It's hurting our economy, hurting our businesses very much.
And has that dictated the way you spend money, the way you invest?
Oh, sure, because you have to be very careful now. If you can't be as aggressive as you could have been years ago, and that hurts.
I want to know who you guys want to support. I guess we'll start with Butch. Who do you want to vote for?
I kind of like what Trump says, but I just hope he could run the country better than he did his casinos.
Yeah, I agree as well. Donald Trump, I think he's a business guy. He started a number of businesses, and I think we need the more businesses we create in the U.S., the better it is. Whether it's people like Dropbox or Uber or Infusionsoft or Microsoft, we need the economy to grow, and it's only going to grow by having amazing companies.
Yeah.
I like Bush.
That's a good point. Ramon Ray, Butch Jamali, good to have you both. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We appreciate it.